I'm Helen.
And I'm Liz.
And we're sisters, scientists, and lifelong X-Files fans.
And this is We Want to Believe. Hey everyone, welcome back. We are both in the country again.
Yes. Back from Ireland. My brother-in-law got married. So we were over there. It was a great trip, but also not conducive to recording.
Did you see anything spooky? I assume if you had, you would have mentioned it, but it occurs to me that I didn't ask you.
No, we didn't get to do much sightseeing. There were a few things that we had wanted to do. Like there was, I think you had told me about it, or Adam had told me about it, your husband, that, which I realized you know who Adam is.
I do know. I'm familiar with Adam.
Yeah. Like an old prison tour.
Oh, God. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And there were some other things, but it ended up being just like too much of a whirlwind.
You guys were not there that long and had a lot of wedding stuff.
I will say I was very afraid of ghosts at one point.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me.
So we were staying in the night before his wedding, all of Zach's side of the family. So Zach and I and his other brother and his girlfriend and his mom, we were all staying in this like little Irish cottage in the countryside, which was gorgeous. I mean, it was really cool. We took a long walk and saw lots of sheep. It was really
the sheep.
gratifying.
Yeah.
But it was a little tight on space. And so Zach and I had to sleep in the living room. And so there was a cot available for sleeping on, like a fold down, like in a hotel room, picture like a...
Oh, yeah.
Like a twin size. And then there was a love seat.
Okay.
And
oh my God.
Yeah.
That's not very long.
They were not great options.
No.
But it was not our wedding.
Yeah.
And so I took, or rather, it was assumed Zach gave me the cot because it was nicer and more spacious. But this meant that he was in a love seat against the wall and I was in a cot in like the middle of the room.
Mm-hmm.
And I fell asleep pretty easily, but then I woke up and I couldn't fall back asleep and Zach was snoring, which I feel like gets mentioned rather
kind of a lot. Yeah.
It's a rather big part of my life.
He opts not to edit it out. So thank you, Zach.
And it was a really, really, really old cottage. And it was the middle of the night. And it was in like the middle of nowhere, like quite literally. There was nothing out there. There was a doodle that we passed, which was
a doodle?
It barked at us. Yeah.
Oh.
And so I got really afraid of ghosts. Enough so that I made Zach switch with me and put him on the cot so that I had my back against the wall on the love seat and felt more blocked in. And almost like the ghosts would, have to get through him to get to me. So
it kind of reminds me of when you were a kid and you didn't want to sleep in a large bed because of that line in the Ghostbusters song, "An invisible man sleeping in your bed."
And when you say kid, you mean like into my early 20s, right?
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like and when you say into your early 20s, you mean until you got married and didn't have to sleep alone and had a visible man sleeping in your bed.
Yes.
Who is Zach.
Visible and audible.
An audible man.
Yeah. And now there's any number of them. There's often several people in there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm not the one in my bed. Out entirely. But yeah, so I was afraid of spooky things in Ireland, but nothing actually happened. So.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Also, listeners, if our sound quality is not that good, a piece broke on the sound recording, editing equipment stuff that Zach uses, so we are just rolling with it rather than not recording. If you're like, I can't handle this sound quality, you are welcome to buy Helen and Zach a new piece.
Yes.
Or not listen, I guess, but we don't like that option.
Yep.
Other updates or anything?
I don't think so. We're moving in on the end of the first season.
Yeah, we really are. We're closing in on it.
Yeah. I think that's it. I mean, you know,
did you get your copy of?
yes, I did. And I had
Yes.
and I promptly left the country.
Fair enough. You were like,
So, and now
Oh.
I even forgot about it.
well, why don't we have this conversation while we're being recorded? Maybe you'll be nicer to me.
Ooh.
Speaking of things arriving in the mail and going out in the mail.
Oh yeah, you didn't send my Stitch Fix.
No, I didn't send your Stitch Fix return.
Yes, I got some very threatening emails.
It hit me like a few days later. I was dog sitting for Helen while she was out of town. And right before she left, she said, "Can you mail this for me? Just drop it off. There's a post office like real close to her house." And I was like, "Oh, yeah." And then it's just like it turned invisible. It's an invisible package sitting on that bench. And I just completely forgot. So.
Yeah. They sent me some emails threatening to charge me for all the stuff. It was
odd.
mildly tempting because some of it I like wasn't sure that I was going to return, and so it was. But there
You can be like, "Liz, you owe me this money. I had to."
Yeah. But what am I going to do with shoes that are too small? So,
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, that has been fixed. But
anyway, mail, you got the book, haven't opened it yet. I read the first page and then I was like, no, I'm going to wait till I touch base with you.
I actually just finished a book last night. So maybe I will.
Should we start reading it? I just finished one a day ago. Yeah.
Okay. Then let's.
All right. We're going to start reading it. So remember, the book we are talking about is X-Files Origins, #1, Agent of Chaos. And it is about a 17-year-old Fox Mulder.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And it appears to be a quick read.
I have an electronic copy. So
okay.
I didn't look. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty thin and the words are relatively, it looks like young adult. So,
yeah.
I don't imagine it's going to be too hard to get through.
Yeah.
Unless it's awful. So, yeah, I will start that because
cool.
The book
awesome.
Last night.
Awesome. So we can talk about that.
Perfect.
So please read along with us.
Yes.
All right, so we are talking today about the episode Born Again.
Born Again, yes. And right away enters Janice from Friends.
That is my first note. There's Janice. Yeah.
In a very un-Janice-like role.
Yeah, she's a cop, and she's called in Mulder and Scully because I'm just going to call her Janice because I don't know. This is Janice from Friends. If you've seen the show Friends, this is Chandler's
Maggie Wheeler. Is that
Maggie Wheeler? Yes, that's the actress's name. And so she's playing a cop. The character's brother liked Mulder's work on the Toombs case. They mention, and so. Man, I cannot read my note. What does this mean? Try to get kid to 10 Mars, Freddie Mercury?
I don't know. I didn't have that in my notes.
I got it. Trying to get kid to ID man.
Oh.
Of course, because what happens is a guy at the police station with Janice, who is kind of a sexist jerk, is in a room with a little girl that they just found. She's like
by herself.
I think she's 8 years old, and she was outside, and they bring her in.
She's older than that.
Oh, well, it ends up being important exactly how old she is because of some timing stuff. But she's an age. Maybe she's older than 8. She's an age, so that's useful. But the cop is alone in the room with the little girl, and he goes like bursting out the window and falls to the ground outside and dies. And so they're trying, the little girl says, "Oh, a man came in and did it." And so they're trying to get her to ID the man, and they're using of course, they're like create a face software that they use in so many episodes. And so that's what my note means. So I didn't write 10 Mars. I wrote ID man. And I thought that, you know how Freddie Mercury looks in like the videos from Live Aid where he's got the mustache? That's what the man looks like.
Okay.
That like,
Yes. Man, that could have been better. I mean, if this had gone down the road where she's actually IDing Freddie Mercury, I mean,
that would have been great.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
I mean, not that this was a bad episode.
I thought it was fine. Yeah,
it was pretty decent. Now, there were a lot of other people mentioned in this episode, and I got a little lost.
I took notes on names of who is who.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So Rudy Barbala is the detective who went through the window.
Okay.
Sexist guy.
Okay.
Oh, Sharon is Janice's name, but we're just going to call her Janice.
Okay.
And then Charlie Morris, he's the guy who was murdered.
Right, and the composite sketch matches him.
Yes. Not only does it look like Freddie Mercury, it looks like a former detective named Charlie Morris.
Yes, and he had died 9 years previously.
9 years previously. Okay, so the girl is 8 or 9.
Well, you gave away the whole plot.
So I did. Okay. Well, there's room for it. Yeah.
I mean, where else would this be going?
Yeah.
And like, you know, we're supposed to be like, oh, how did he? I mean, I don't know if we're supposed to be confused about how he went flying out the window or just be like, well, obviously that girl somehow pushed him out the window.
Yeah, I don't know either, but it sure seemed clear to me.
Yeah. So this detective had died 9 years previously in some sort of gang hit?
Yeah, he had been part of an investigation of some gang, and they killed him, and they killed him in a very specific way.
Right.
Where, like, one of his legs and arms was removed or something.
I have it.
Certain parts of him were cut off.
Yes. Part of his arm and one of his eyes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then that becomes important because they eventually find that little girl's parents.
Yeah.
And Mulder and Scully are talking to her mom and find out that, like, she has been troubled her whole life. They talk to her therapist at one point, and the therapist says, like, I've given her, like, dolls to play with, and she always mutilates them in the same way. And, of course, it's removing the arm and the eye.
Which, like, oh, my God. I could not handle that as a parent.
I mean, I guess as far as little girls in season 1 of the X-Files go, it's better than those psychotic twins from Eve.
Yeah, clones. I think
clones is the word. Clones. Yes, of course, the Eve clones.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
but also, you know. Yeah. There's a lot of room between not scary child and the clones from the Eve episode.
Yes. So eventually, they talk to another guy. This is where I get lost with the name.
Yeah. Let me help you out. Is it Tony Fiore?
Tony Fiore.
Tony Fiore, and that's Charlie Morris's ex-partner.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he is extremely unhelpful.
He's kind of like, oh, I don't want you to come in. My wife is asleep. And then his wife kind of like ducks outside, and either Mulder or Scully notes later, like, Scully, like, she's got flour on her hand, like she was cooking. She wasn't asleep.
Yeah.
So what's he hiding?
Yeah.
And Anita is Tony Fiore's wife.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah.
Thank you. And so he ends up meeting with another guy.
Leon Felder.
Okay.
Who I describe as bus guy.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah. Importantly, well, so they're talking about something rather cryptic, the two of them, Tony and Leon.
And this is after Mulder and Scully have left Tony's house.
Right.
To be like, hey, any idea why somebody who looks like your dead partner was pushing this other dude out a window?
Right. Mm-hmm. And is it Leon, I believe, who gets off the bus or is getting off a bus late at night and gets stuck in it. His scarf gets stuck and he ends up being run over by the bus.
Yep, kind of dragged alongside it and killed. Yeah, and then they show who's on the bus? That little girl.
Yeah, which, like, also, why is a 9-year-old riding a bus by herself at night?
I mean, she's like getting out of her house, but I also feel like, well, I don't know. Did alarm systems not exist so much in 1990? I mean, I'm sure they didn't, but like,
I don't know.
I mean, I'd be like setting up pots and pans outside her room so it would wake me up if she tried to get out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is making me think of, so my goddaughter used to live next door to us, and a couple of years ago, so she was maybe 4, 3 or 4, and she told my friend, her mom, the next morning about how, like, oh, she had made that snowman last night. And my friend was like, what do you mean you had made that snowman last night? And she was like, oh, last night I woke up and I went outside and made that snowman. And my friend was like, I'm sorry, what?
Oh my God.
Yeah. I think that's how it went. It was doing something in the snow, or like a snow angel or something.
Can you imagine getting up at like midnight to get a drink of water, looking outside and seeing a 4-year-old building a snowman? That would be so scary.
That would be so scary. Yeah. I mean, I freaked out at my kids the other day because I was making dinner and they were playing outside, and they left our yard to go talk to one of our neighbors. And like, they were right next door. It's a nice neighbor. It's someone we know. But I was like, you cannot leave our yard. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. Like, be where you say you're going to be.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. I think there's a decent amount of 1990s Stranger Danger Oprah episodes that have contributed to maybe an abnormal amount of paranoia on my part about these things. But
it's a tough thing to not be paranoid about, you know? Yeah. I mean, if it's in your head. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so she's just on the bus.
Yep. And she's, totally cool with the fact that they just, because the bus driver tries to stop, of course, but the pedal goes down against his will.
Yes. Yes.
So Leon is now dead. Now we got 2 guys dead.
Yes. Yeah, both of whom were involved with
this gang investigation.
Exactly.
Where Charlie was killed.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so I had stopped watching around here. I'm sorry.
Wait. So when I said, oh, I loved that fish tank thing, and you just didn't really
respond. Yeah, I thought, oh, there's a fish tank thing.
All right, here we go. We're going to use my notes. That's okay. So earlier in the episode, I wanted to bring up, they mentioned in passing that Charlie loved origami, the guy who died, who looks like Freddie Mercury, who died a while ago. And the way they explain, the Japanese art of paper folding. And I thought, did viewers in the 1990s not know what origami was? Like,
they did, though, because I remember doing origami in grade school.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
I thought it was odd, but I guess they did draw attention to it, and it becomes important because later Mulder and Scully are able to get inside Tony Fiore's house to talk to his wife when Tony's not there, and they have all these little origami animal figures on a dresser top, and Mulder and Scully are like, oh, what's the deal with that? And Anita, Tony's wife, who's talking to them, is like, oh, those were made by Charlie. And it turns out Charlie was her first husband. And so she's his widow. And
he married his old partner then.
Yes. Yeah. Weird. A little weird. I guess stuff happens, Yeah. I want to say, oh, you're both mourning, blah, blah, blah. But as we'll find out, perhaps there was less mourning on the part of one of them because the Fiores have a big, giant fish tank in their house.
Yes, the fish tank.
And And so Mulder is encouraging them to do regression hypnosis on the little girl.
Right.
Because Mulder has a theory, which is correct, it turns out, as you can probably guess, that Charlie Morris's spirit is in this little girl.
Right.
And
also, at some point, Scully gets to, I can't remember if she does the autopsy on the guy who flew from the window or if she is just observing his body. But Mulder asks if there had been any sort of like UV or radiation.
Oh, yeah.
There were. And so, of course, that leads him to think of cytokinesis.
Psychokinesis.
No, psychokinesis. Cytokinesis is part of the cell life cycle. Part of psychosis. I was just talking about it.
I guess better to mix it up that way than the reverse. Yeah. Teach a bunch of students that's called psychokinesis. Yeah. So yeah.
Psychokinesis.
Yes.
Yes, because of the radiation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As has come up on X-Files before, radiation, sign of creepy stuff, sign of psychokinesis, sign of aliens, sign of whatever they want it to be a sign of, I think.
Yeah. I don't, this one I don't get as much, but, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they also mention, I don't know if you got to this part or not, that they mentioned that the little girl, by the way, I haven't mentioned the little girl's name because I can't remember it, and I didn't write it down.
I think is it Michelle?
Yes, it is okay. Michelle. That they're giving Michelle Thorazine.
Oh, yeah. Which is a really powerful antipsychotic. Also, it was prescribed to our mother when she was pregnant with
me.
You. Okay.
Yeah. When she had like Illinois' worst gynecologist or whatever that guy was like, later crowned.
Literally.
Yeah.
Later. Yeah. For hyperemesis.
Yeah. For nausea. Like for, nausea. For being very, very, very sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not for psychosis. Want to make that very clear. That is not why you, Mom, just to be clear there. So yeah, because they were talking about how if they
more ridiculous. I mean, that's the yeah. Well, and I wonder. I don't know. We would have to ask her this question, but I know that they had asked her at one point, like, "Are you hyperemesis? Is when you have intense nausea and vomiting in pregnancy."
Constantly, not like, oh, morning sickness.
No, but like hospitalized multiple times. And I know at one point they like thought she was nauseous because she was depressed.
Yeah.
And I know she was like, no, I'm depressed because I'm so nauseous. And
like, come on.
Yeah, but I don't know if Thorazine was some sort of early like thought to be an anti-nausea drug or if this was like just purely bad doctoring.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah.
But it seems like a bad sign that that's what they have this 8-year-old on.
Yes.
Especially because really all we see her doing is being in creepy situations, like walking to them and then being there.
Yeah.
So Mulder gets her to get hypnotized again.
Right.
I was not crazy about this because, I mean, I think it's so clear, you know, with a little bit of time that, like, you can implant memories so easily. But I guess in 1994, that was less of a known thing.
Yeah.
It's hard to see Mulder treating regression hypnosis as if it is 100% gonna give you something true and reliable, as if the possibility of creating memories isn't there.
Especially with a kid. I mean, that kids' memories can be really easily influenced. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you know, especially with someone so young, it's hard, you know, it's hard to say.
And so they start that, they're recording it. She freaks out. I don't remember the details that well, and kind of leaves. And then the mom is like, we're not doing this anymore. And I'm thinking, I don't blame her. The kid's really upset. But they get some kind of staticky audio video stuff from the recording. And of course they get one of their people to like analyze the static at the lab and get stuff out of it. And so around that time, they get permission to exhume, or maybe it's not, they don't exhume his body. Maybe Scully just gets her hand on like better case notes about how Charlie Morris died.
Okay.
And it turns out, although he had his arm and his eye cut out, that isn't how he died. He died because his lungs were full of seawater.
Oh.
And they are, I don't remember where this took place, but not on the ocean.
See, okay, that makes a lot more sense, because I was wondering, I mean, like, that would have to be a completely untreated, amputated arm and eye. I mean, like, that would have to be...
How do you die from that?
Yeah. I mean, that would have to be a lot of blood loss, which could happen. I mean, but that would be...
Yeah.
Okay.
No, so he's drowned. And that's when they resolve the static in this image, and it's of a little toy, like, diver, like deep sea diving guy. Yeah.
This is familiar to me from having seen this before.
Yeah. In a past life. No. And that wouldn't work.
No. What's interesting, like, I mean, but why was there static of her recorded, you know?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I saw this episode about a week ago at this point, and my memories were starting to decay pretty heavily. Speaking of memories.
Why? Yeah.
Yes. So you could convince me actually that was static from, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever you'd like to convince me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and it's upside down, and it's because that's the last thing Charlie saw, because he was being held upside down in Tony Fiore's saltwater fish tank.
Yes.
And drown. And they discover that Tony Fiore and Rudy Barbala, who's the detective who went through the window, and Leon Felder, the guy who got dragged by the bus, the three of them found a bunch of money, as did Charlie. They found all this money at this drug bust. And so the plan was hang on to the money for 10 years and then spend it, but not until then. And Charlie was not okay with this. And Charlie kept putting pressure on them. And so finally they killed him and made it look like the gang did it. And when Mulder and Scully get to the Fiore's house, little girl is there and she's about to kill Tony Fiore.
Oh my God, I don't remember that.
Yes, I don't remember exactly how, but it ends with the fish tank shattering and glass exploding everywhere and water going everywhere, which she does it with her mind, you know.
Oh.
And
I just watched an episode of New Girl where Schmidt has a big fish tank and it explodes everywhere. And so that's what I'm picturing.
I mean, I guess a fish tank exploding is going to look the same, you know. So yeah, they keep her from killing him. And then after that, the girl seems much better, as if the Charlie Morris's spirit is at peace because they've found out the truth. And
how exactly did they find out the truth?
I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Tell them?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think they say like they're getting the girl therapy, or maybe I just thought that they should. I don't remember. So yeah, I mean, so that's basically the wrap up of the episode, you know.
Okay.
Charlie is at peace. I found it sort of similar, and in fact I confused the two episodes back early in season 1. There's that episode where you know what I'm talking about? What'd you say?
The woman's boss.
Yeah, and we kind of started making up some fanfic for her life, because she ends up just like living out in the middle of the country, being a secretary again.
Yeah.
Because it's like her ex-boss who kind of protected her. When people are jerks to her, he starts killing them or whatever.
Yeah. Frankly, like I remember this episode.
Oh, it's not when people are jerks to her. It's that there's criminal stuff hidden and he's trying to reveal it because he was killed, of course, right?
Yeah, it also was when like people were being mean to her. Like there was that there were like a couple of
Yes.
memes that
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I had confused the two of those episodes as well. And so I thought that I didn't. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
If you listen to us talking about that episode, I think I mentioned, I thought there was a fish tank in this episode.
Oh.
It's because I was mixing these up.
Okay.
And the episode that we're talking about, by the way, is Shadows.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
So I looked into something. I looked into some stuff about this episode.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was like, why is Janice from Friends in this episode? Because I had a memory that what'd you say?
She's an actress. It's not actually Janice.
I mean, what I mean is, I thought she played an integral role in the plot. My memory had put her in the position of the woman with the boss who was protecting her in that other episode.
Okay.
But no, she's just a detective, kind of involved like any other. And I'm like, she seems like a bigger name, but maybe I'm wrong. David Duchovny and her were dating at the time.
Really?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, in 1989, they worked on an indie movie together called New Year's Day. They were both the co-stars in that movie, and
Gosh.
I'm assuming that's how they met.
And you were still dating at that time?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know if they were still dating or if it was on and off, but yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. I never would have.
I know.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow. Now I kind of want to finish watching the episode. Oh, how funny.
Also, apparently, David Duchovny and Chris Carter and the writer of the episode, Howard Gordon, all say, we didn't like that episode that much.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That they were like, it's kind of like Shadows, and it's not as good.
Yeah.
So we aren't the only people.
I'd call it not as good as Shadows. I feel like both of them are fine.
I agree. Yeah, I really thought the image of the diver was really creepy. As I told you, the fish tank thing. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Do we have any stories?
I don't believe we do. I haven't done much to collect them. So just a reminder to please, do that. Also, the next episode we are going to talk about is Roland. And I'm going to go ahead and say, unless you feel real motivated, you don't need to watch it. You can just hear me talk about it.
Yeah.
It is real
Bad.
Yeah, did not recommend it. We might have to make up some fan fiction version to take its place, like we did with Shapes, which is now about
like we did with Triangles. Is what. Although actually, and I think we have said this before, that Triangle is actually a later episode that's pretty good.
Oh, it's a fantastic episode. Yeah.
So listen to our episode about it. Don't feel like you need to watch it. Roland, that is. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Do we have a sign off? Didn't we?
Yeah, we did, but I don't know.
And we announced who we were, but I think they know.
Yeah. See you next time.
Bye.